Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Strange Times Poetry Broadcast, coming to you live from the Poetry Bookshelf. I'm so glad that you could join me today. I'm going to be reading 3 uplifting poems, and for those of you who haven't joined me before, that's usually one poem by a famous author, one poem by a friend, and one poem by myself. And if you haven't yet, please like Strange Times Poetry Broadcast Facebook page so that you'll know when we're next going live and all that great information about us. So the three poems that I'm reading tonight, they all touch on the theme of building new worlds, obviously each in different ways. Right now we're building a new world, for better or for worse. Our lives have completely changed, and we're creating something new, but I think we don't quite know what we're creating yet. And we're creating things in lots of different ways and spaces. And so I hope that some of those creations are for the good. I think that's the hope, that some of the new things that we're creating are good. You know, how we connect more with people, how we are innovative. There's good things that are being built, even within the difficulties. So the first poem that I'm going to read is by Mary Ruefle. And in this poem, the world that she builds, I think, is the world of a secret kept to oneself, which is very different, I think, than what you might imagine for world building. It's like, welcome. This is about the world created within and choosing to hold something to oneself. And you'll see how that works. This poem is called The Hand. The Hand. The teacher asks a question. You know the answer. You suspect you are the only one in the classroom who knows the answer because the person in the question is yourself, and on that you are the greatest living authority. But you don't raise your hand. You raise the top of your desk and take out an apple. You look out the window. You don't raise your hand, and there is some essential beauty in your fingers, which aren't even drumming, but lie flat and peaceful. The teacher repeats the question. Outside the window, on an overhanging branch, a robin is ruffling its feathers, and spring is in the air. I think a lot of Mary Ruefle's poems kind of contain something that's intimate and private in them, which is both being shared and held back from the reader. And I think this is just like the perfect description of that, the teacher calling on the speaker and sort of holding back, refusing to say something, and how that opens up, this apple, the beauty of the still hand and the world outside. It's very interesting. So, once again, this is selected poems, and it's from Wave Books. So you should definitely see about procuring this directly from the small press. I love a lot of books that Wave Books puts out. So I hope you get to read some if you have any extra time this quarantine. The next poet that I'm going to read is by a friend and a mentor, Joyce Pesaroff. This is one of her many books, Eastern Mountain Time. She was one of my teachers at UMass Boston and has been a fierce advocate for me in other ways throughout my poetry career. So I really appreciate getting to read some of her work tonight. And in this poem called Egg, she kind of imagines everything that a single egg that is a little stale that that the speaker might just want to throw out, everything that it could do and be, and how something so small can be a saving grace. So yeah, Egg. Who imagines the future as it will happen? Did Mandelstam think he'd die for comparing Stalin's fingers to grubs? The night of his arrest, his wife invited Akhmatova for dinner and boiled her an egg. A fresh egg was a rare thing. Before the secret police took him, Mandelstam ate the egg Akhmatova offered with salt. I cleaned the refrigerator before leaving the place I've lived for 6 months. There's a carton with 1 egg left. The look of hibiscus beguiled me, and jasmine perfume, for half a year. I cared for now, forget the future. Now what should I do with this egg? Not enough for a meal, stale, maybe good for a batch of pancakes. My mother said wasting food is a sin. I drip the sweat of privilege, assuming the future will be like now. At my age, it won't. My friends would laugh if I gave them a single egg. Would my mother laugh, or her mother, widowed with 3 children? I drop the egg. The disposal grinds it to a slurry that will be flushed and purified, mingled with the river and salting the sea. This is my lyric for failing to find one of the homeless vets camped by the river and giving him the egg. I kayaked once past a tent patched with a blue tarp. My curious husband wanted to paddle ashore. I could barely find breath to say no. So profound was the privacy of that sandy crescent between mangroves. I'm afraid of my America and our child's. A tent, a hibachi, a folding chair, a styrofoam cooler. Who could have dreamed this future? And an egg. What could one egg do to redeem it? I love how this poem questions the future and at the same time is talking about this egg, which, you know, is very symbolic, sort of life creating, seed like, future oriented thing. All right. It's a beautiful poem. And this was published in Agni Online, so you can go check it out. I'll put all the information in the description and also definitely check out some of Joyce's books. They are beautiful. All right. And my last poem is my own, and it's called A Love Note from an Ice Age. And this is part of my series that I was writing about an imagined ice age where the world significantly changes and becomes more isolated, but it's not an apocalypse that creates some sort of messianic future. It's sort of how we are now. A big trauma that creates change and yet many of and sort of sheds light on many of the ways that our society works, and then those things just keep going. Love Notes from an Ice Age. At first, what surprises you is what does and doesn't survive. Grasses remain. Evergreens crack and are buried under the snow. I'd imagined infinite silence for this new world, but most humans made it, and drills, the hungry banging to ferret out what is below. Local airports destroyed, too expensive to continue to shovel out to scrape clean each morning. But planes and places to go, a bit flattened out, less motivating, existent still. Languages made it. Pennies seemed like a lot of effort. Most efforts were lost. And dirt. Do you remember it? We came so close to tasting that sweet-smelling stuff, bits of pine and other rot, possibly fluffy. It's still there, but we don't see it anymore. I should have swept it down your cheek, my caress a thin line, like poets, all the mud I could have painted on your neck between your clavicles. The highest honor to be used in the pursuit of pleasure. But after the initial shock, what survives is quotidian, drills going in and out and in, and our bodies that made it. The only surprise left is the ice. How I had imagined this age, endless white, is actually blue. So I think in this new world, even though, some stuff is revealed to be kind of quotidian every day and there's a lot of loss, there's also there's a lot of bad surprises. There's also some surprises that are full of wonder, the compressed ice, kind of like how we see with uh, icebergs and whatnot, and sort of calved parts of glaciers are blue, not white. And so the sort of wonder of the new world in between the difficult moments are these beautiful blue pieces of ice. I'm so glad you were able to join me. And for now, stay safe, stay sane, and good night. Bye!